Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast episode. My name is Alicia Gogan, the host of the Globe Seekers podcast, where I help you expand your mind and become more self-aware so that you can glow up into the best version of yourself. Hello, how are we doing? Welcome to another off-topic episode. I'm really excited to do today's episode. I think mainly because I have been grinding in the past solid week with prepping so much content to make sure that everything gets posted, everything is live for when I am gone. I'm not even going for very long. I'm going to Nashville and I'm only going for a few days, but the prep that you need to do when you are a full-time content creator to make sure that you're getting all of your videos out. Plus, I have a lot of brand deals coming up as well. So when I do brand deals, I have to film the video and it has to be sent in for approval and any edits if they need it. And then they have to send it back and then we have to decide on a live date. So like everything is a little bit earlier than usual. So when I have a lot of brand deals coming in, that means there's a lot more pre-filming in a way. It's not just like on the whim, I'm recording one day and then like 2 days later I'm posting, which I do a lot of the times too. Not every single video of mine is a brand deal, but I have been on my game. And so I'm a little excited for today because I just feel like I just want to talk about random things. I've been using my brain so much. That is what I was really going to say. And I'm honestly really sick of myself. I'm so sick of talking. I'm so sick of watching my content back and editing it. And I feel like I've just been hearing the same vocabulary over and over again, like shadow work and healing and inner child and this, that, and all this crap. So, oh my God, I'm just happy to not really talk about anything. But anyways, we're always going to get deep on here. But we have a lot to talk about on this episode. And we need to start with the first thing. And that is, you guys know, I plan to go to Nashville Sunday, October 1st to the 4th, not long. But the main event was to go see Drake. But guess what? I found out yesterday that he postponed his Nashville concert. So I'm not going to see Drake anymore. I'm not going to see Drake. So I was like going back and forth to see like, do I even go to Nashville? Because that was kind of the main event. Obviously, I want to do other things in Nashville, but I kind of was like going there for the concert. And then my friends were saying like they can't get a refund for their Airbnb and they can't change their flights. And I looked and I couldn't change my flight and all this. So I'm like, I guess we're going to Nashville and we're just not going to see Drake. It is what it is. Now I'm actually going to vlog. So I actually want to talk about like, how not to let the realities of life beat you down. Now, obviously, it's a very like still a cool thing. The fact that I can just go to Nashville and whatever and like not going to Drake is not the end of the world. It's definitely not. But I am somebody who is very much so a chronic overthinker, overplanner. And when things don't go right, now I'm able to handle it a lot better. But it used to flip my entire life upside down. So anyways, I want to talk about that in the vlog. And I'm just going to vlog Nashville. So definitely make sure that you're watching the main channel. Well, honestly, that vlog is not going to come out for another like week or two anyways. So either way, so you won't... you won't be seeing any Drake concert content. And I'm sad. I did want to see him, obviously. And I was really hoping that I was going to be able to see Central C because he's been opening for him every show in the South recently. And I'm like, of course. And there's a whole story time with that. Anyways, so we're not going to get into it. But we're going to Nashville and it's going to be great either way. And I'm going to have a great time. I'm just going to live my best life. I have been working hard and I've been really proud of myself for working hard. I'm always working hard, but like especially this past week. But anyways, also today is a really good day because when I'm filming this is Friday and Black, which is one of my favorite rap/R&B artists, he just dropped a song called Homicide with Jessie Reyes. Go listen to that song. It is fantastic. The way that I've been listening to one little snippet of a clip that he had posted for the past like 2 weeks because I heard like 30 seconds of the song and I was like, oh my God, I need this song. And I've been listening to it on replay. So when he actually dropped it, it's fire. It's so fire. But I already knew the lyrics because I'd been listening to it. It's kind of whatever. Anyways, so it's a good day. I woke up, I listened to a brand new song. It's a new day and things are great. Also, yesterday, oh my Lord of mercy, you guys know that I cycle sync. And so what I mean by I cycle sync, essentially I make sure that I know when I'm getting my period, what phases I'm in. I kind of adjust my workload and my schedule and this, that. Not everything is perfect. I'm literally going to be traveling on my period, which is not ideal for me, but I'm going to do it anyways. Like I'm not going to stop my life because of that. But so anyways, I'm saying that because yesterday, my leg day, going to the gym for me hasn't really been that hard because I've just made it a normal thing in my life. Like it's not this like hard thing, this leg day. Obviously it's hard when I get there, but I'm like, there's no like hard negative story about going to the gym anymore. It's just like a normal thing. But yesterday, the way I did not want to go to the gym and do legs, and mainly I know it's because I'm right at the end of my luteal phase, which I have the lowest amount of energy. I wasn't in a good mood. Just naturally get very irritated by the smallest little things when I'm about to get my period, typical PMS symptoms. I don't struggle with PMS too much because I think that I have a really great cycle and that is a reflection of how I live and everything like that. But oh my gosh, I still experience some things. And one of them is definitely like mood swings, not too crazy. I can feel, and I've said this before and some of you guys have agreed, I feel this like irritation in my bones with certain specific things. And it's like this switch that flips for me. And I just know like, okay, we're getting the period soon. But anyways, I was really not wanting to go. I was like, just go. If you push this workout off, you're not going to do another leg day probably till you come back anyways. And then you just don't need to live life like that. We're just not doing that. And so I went, and even when I got there, I was like, okay, just get on the treadmill, I was listening to a random podcast. I wasn't in the mood. This is the thing. I wasn't in the mood to listen to any music, nothing. But I was like, okay, just go on the treadmill because I always warm up, and then do your warm up. And even like right when I was about to, because I also do like activation for my glutes too before I go and actually do my heavy sets. I was so not in the mood. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, like genuinely. But I'm like, what am I going to do? Just walk out? I'm not doing that. Like I'm already here. You kind of have to do it, right? And so I was like, when I get into these moods, I try not to think about all of the exercises that I have to do or how many more reps I have to do or how many more sets. When I am like feeling like this workout is going to break me, I can't do it, I'm weak. First of all, I tell myself that this is more of an emotional thing. Just because I feel like I can't do it doesn't mean my physical body can't actually do it. So I kind of have to get out of that story. But what I'll do is I just focus on the next rep. I don't focus, because this is sometimes what happens when you're doing like 12 reps and it's a heavy set and you're just thinking, oh my God, I'm on rep 3 and you have like 7, 10 more, whatever. It feels so much harder than you just thinking, okay, I'm counting from 3 to 4, 4 to 5. And you kind of like you keep your eye on the next number and that's it. And when I witness myself going back to like, oh my God, I have to get up to 12, I bring myself back to 6 and I think just to 7. We're just getting to 7. And then I just kept doing that, obviously. And lo and behold, I got my workout done. I was so proud of myself. And as I was doing that, I was really acknowledging myself in the moment, being like, you look at this. You're doing this. You're doing this. You thought that you weren't going to be able to do this. And you were telling yourself a story about how, weak you were going to be. And you were negotiating with yourself. And you were thinking about it, but you didn't do it. And I think in those moments, I think this is something that I've been recently doing too, is really acknowledging when I have done good in my life and rewarding myself essentially just by affirmations, or maybe simply actually rewarding myself with maybe, okay, I'm working today and at this time I'm going to stop working and I'm going to watch Real Housewives, or I'm going to do something, instead of this constant always achieving things. And then like, no wonder it feels so brutal all the time, because it's like, there's no positive reinforcement. There's no dopamine from the fact that like, oh yeah, you just did this thing. So anyways, I say all that to say that workout yesterday was a me versus me workout. It was nobody else but me. Like I was like, holy shit, I haven't had one of these workouts in a long time. And I just kept telling myself in the moment, you absolutely can do this, and focus on one step at a time. Like we will deal with the next exercise and how heavy it's going to be and how many reps you're going to have to do after you do this. Like let's not bring ourselves over there. And this is like, honestly, something that we do all the time, right? When we just think about how much work it's going to be to start a new project or a new school year, or if you're going through a breakup or something, like how hard and maybe how lonely and all of this, when, it's never going to end, let's not look at the future like that, because what that creates is a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. And that's when you give up. Of course you're going to give up. If you feel like shit right now and you're telling yourself you have like 10 more sets of heavy ass hip thrusts and reverse lunges and all of these really hard things, like why would you do that to yourself? Like, let's bring ourselves back to the present. So anyways, obviously very proud of myself, and it was extra hard because I was coming down to my lowest place where I am with my hormones. So, there was a lot of reasons for me to want to stop, but I was like, no, you can absolutely do it. Okay. Also, in regards to my health and wellness, I have been drinking so much more water, and I'm so proud of myself. And a water bottle company actually just sent me a bunch of water bottles. So I'm so excited because I'm going to bring it with me on the plane. And also it's always great to have a good water bottle. But recently I've just been drinking like out of my glass one. And the trick that I have found with drinking more water for me has been filling up my Brita and not putting it in the fridge. And I know a lot of people love really cold water. So if you're a cold water girly and it works for you, then this is not going to be for you. But for me personally, I don't know why I only just started doing this. I know the importance of drinking more warmer water, or like lukewarm water, for your digestive system. I'm somebody who gets cold all the time. I also have very sensitive teeth. And so I don't know why I ever thought that having my water in my fridge was going to be the answer to me drinking more water. Now, there's other reasons why I don't drink more water, and I have to work on those habits, and I have been, but it has been so much easier for me to drink more when my water is like lukewarm. And I know sometimes it kind of sounds weird, like why would I want to drink lukewarm water? But it's also a very normal thing. And I even think about when I go to my somatic therapist, she has a studio. She does yoga and like different classes in women's circles and stuff like that. And she's a massage therapist, and she does somatic therapy at her studio. And she always has a like water tank, but it's warm water. Not warm. It's not even warm. It's just like lukewarm. It's like normal temperature of water. And I always notice that I can drink more, and it's not weird. It doesn't taste gross. It's not like that hot water bottle that you have in your car. It's not like that. And it's clean water. And so I'm like, I need to start doing that. So I went to her studio one time, or recently, and I took a photo of her Brita because I actually want the Brita that she has. And I was like, I really just need to try and keep my Brita outside of my fridge. And lo and behold, I'm drinking so much more water. Like, it's honestly, sometimes it's that simple. I don't know. And another thing that I like to tell myself when it's like midday and I want to get a second cup of coffee, I'm like, how good it would feel though, instead of drinking coffee, if I was hydrated. Like, just reminding yourself of like how healthy you are, and like that healthy girl, you're just drinking your water and you got your water in, your skin's going to be glowing and it's just so good for you. Just sometimes reminding yourself of why this healthy habit is going to be so good for you, honestly, sometimes works. It doesn't work all the time because we obviously know what healthy habits do, but I sometimes think that we don't remind ourselves of the positive, of the outcome, right? We just think about, oh, it's going to be like boring and hard to like do this new habit and like go to the gym and stuff. But imagine how you feel when you're done. You're this like hot, fit girl who's drinking her water and having her high protein snacks or whatever. So anyways, I'm doing really good with my health and wellness. I'm very, very proud of myself. There's a few more things that I want to dial in, but just stay tuned. Okay, one more thing, I guess, when it comes to health and wellness is my girl dinner. So you guys know, and if you don't know, there is a trend on TikTok all about girl dinners, and it's just, I guess, just girls showing on the internet their random concoctions of just like probably not the healthiest foods that they eat for dinner. I didn't really jump on that trend in terms of relating because I don't eat random things like that. And honestly, no shade to girls who just eat like a handful of chips and then you got like a little bit of macaroni and like a freaking drumstick or I don't know, like some random stuff, right? I like to have balanced meals. I like to have cooked meals. Also, my stomach is very sensitive and I've had a lot of gut health issues. I've just had so many health issues that I just like, it's not even about being traumatized, but genuinely like it's ingrained in me that I just eat well. Like I can't just sit and eat a bunch of random crappy foods to my body, because my body will respond in such huge ways. And this is also not to say that I eat super clean, super rigid. You guys know I've had an unhealthy relationship with food, so I'm very balanced. But when it comes to just like eating random things, like or snacks or things that are not good for you, really, I'm not really into that. But I got Kodak pancake mix because I was like, okay, well, maybe I want to have like protein pancakes, because y'all know I'm in my protein era. I'm not even in my protein era. It's a part of my life. Like really, it's a part of my life. But I was like, okay, like let me get these Kodak pancakes for the times that maybe I want to have like a Saturday morning breakfast and it's not like a normal clean-ish or just what I normally eat breakfast. And I honestly never really took advantage of it until recently, but then I wanted to add more protein powder in it because I realized there wasn't even that much protein powder in. You gotta look at the labels too with things when they say high protein, especially when it's packaged items. When it's like actual like meat or eggs or Greek yogurt or those type of like more whole food animal products, like it's like they're gonna be high protein. But when it comes to packaged stuff, being somebody who used to read labels all the time, and just I know about macro profiles and things like that, half the time it's a scam. Honestly, just look at the back of the ingredients, and if they're saying like, oh, this high protein snack, but it has like 6 grams of protein for the whole entire thing, it's like, babe, it's not high protein at all. So anyways, the Kodak, oh my gosh, the Kodak pancake mix doesn't have that much protein in it. So I ended up adding a scoop of whey protein and an egg, which makes it more. Not the biggest deal. If you want to have freaking normal pancakes, do it. But I was like, let me just add some protein. So recently, technically, that's been my girl dinner, is high protein pancakes. And I've been eating high protein pancakes while I'm watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And if you guys don't watch Salt Lake City, you need to watch it. I don't watch every, what is it called? All of the Real Housewives, there's so many of them. But Salt Lake is my absolute favorite. And I'm not going to get too deep in it because a lot of you might not watch it. But this season has already started off with an absolute bang. There's so much drama. And can we just talk about how Mary is back? And Mary is the weirdest lady you will ever witness in life. That lady is something else. Like, why are you hanging out with women who you do not like? There's so many things about Mary. It's just ridiculous. Lisa, she has been very much so in her rich girl era, complaining about everything, as most do when you're removed from the world. And then there's this new girl, I forget her name. I liked her at the beginning because she's like a rags to riches type of girl, and she's not even that rich. She's like kind of like the poor one out of their group essentially. And so like, you always have respect for those type of people, and like she tries to like humble the girls and make them realize, not everyone has all the money and all the things like you guys. But the last episode that I watched, she was really getting annoyed by Lisa because Lisa had lost her $60,000 ring and she was complaining about it, which was absolutely fucking annoying. Like Lisa likes to complain and cry about everything, but also like Lisa didn't want her to do her makeup, like the drag, because they're dressing up in drag, and Lisa like had a breakdown because she has her makeup artist come there and she didn't want to do drag makeup, and also that was annoying. But this new girl really started to get down on Lisa like once again and just start telling her like, you're so removed from the realities of life and this, that. And you know what? As much as, yes, it can be annoying if you're around somebody who's like, is really privileged, right? And they live in their privileged ways. And like, yes, you definitely need to like kind of comment on it and maybe humble them a little bit so they can see. But then there's another side where this new girl, she just needs to stop projecting though. Like, stop letting everything affect you so much. Like, okay, we get it. There's rich people out there, but like, why are we like crying about the fact that they have these things and I don't, and you should be more humble, and like, you should really understand my situation, and you shouldn't cry about your $60,000 ring because I'm over here and I'm going through a divorce and I have to support my kids. Again, understandable 100%. By the way, like, I'm not rich. Like, I also didn't come from money. Like, the money that I have now is so much more than I ever used to have. I did not come from wealth. So like, I totally get it. But I don't know. I just think that like it's also your insecurity as well coming out. So there's a balance. Like, yes, maybe humble the person a little bit, but the way that this girl's like diving in to Lisa about her and her rich lifestyles, like, what do you expect? This girl's like, she's allowed to complain about it anyways. I don't know. And also she's really giving like kind of a snake and jumping back and forth to different friends. Like, she's saying she's friends with Angie, but then she's calling her friend, a parent friend, a pit bull and like a puppet and all this kind of stuff. And I think that because she wants to be likable to all these girls, because she looks at herself like lower, and I'm not even saying that, she says that in the show, essentially, she's kind of trying to be a little bit too likable to a lot of these girls. And that's usually the behavior that you'll see like snake behavior. You'll see somebody try to play both sides when they really want to be liked by people. So you'll see her like kind of turn on her friend. Like, I don't know how you speak to your friend like that when apparently she's your friend and she brought you into this group. I don't know. It's weird. So anyways, if you guys are interested in my commentary on Real Housewives, then yeah, that's it. But I really do like the show though. I love a good gossip. I love a good dramatic. Like, at the end of the day, I look at these women, I'm like, wow, you guys are all still operating deeply from wounds that you have not healed from childhood, and lots of insecurities and lots of projection. And this is not to like hype it up, right? It's very unhealthy. And I would never want to be friends with people like that, because that's just way too dramatic. But at the end of the day, the core of how these women act, like, it's all deep rooted. And it's so fascinating to watch people operate from these places in adulthood, not to like laugh at them, because I get it. Like, not everyone is perfect and we all operate from certain wounds and insecurities and things like that. But I don't know. It's crazy, but it's enjoyable and it's entertainment. And it really helps me disconnect sometimes from the realities of my life. Okay, so I went on my podcast Instagram. If you guys don't know, I have an Instagram for the podcast, the Glow Up Secrets podcast, where I will post weekly quotes and promotion for the actual episodes and stuff. So, and of course I'll do Q&As. And so I did a Q&A and I asked you guys, like, what are some things that you want me to talk about on the Off Topic podcast episode? And so I just picked a few that we could just talk about. Some were just like personal to me, and I don't know. We'll just see. I'm not going to go through too much. Just like a few ones that I figured that I would post or pick. So somebody had asked me, what are a few things that are bringing you happiness lately? Which is very sweet. Thank you so much for asking. A lot of you guys asked me like how I'm doing and like personal stuff. I'm doing, like I kind of already said in this episode, I'm doing great. Like, honestly, like life is good. Life is good since the Mercury retrograde. And I was thinking about this today, like, you know, the result of you saying no to all the things that you no longer want to say yes to, and for you to stand in your worth, and for you to do what the universe is asking you to do, which is to change in some sense of the form, which I feel like we all went through big changes, hard things. We had to feel a lot of things deeply. We had to cry. We had to release. We had to whatever. The result is how you're feeling now. And I know it's only going to get better. So I'm definitely like feeling really great. But I was thinking about this, like what things kind of like make me happy. I think it's more what things make me at peace right now, because there's not necessarily like things or a person that's like making me happy. But I think like what's making me at peace right now is really being grateful for the things that I have. Like recently I've really been tapping into just gratitude, and it's just made me feel so at peace. Just recognizing all the ways in which I'm supported by everyone in my life. This is a big wound that I've had in my life, right? I've grown up with not the healthiest relational dynamics. I didn't come from a lot in my life. I went through very hard times when my dad passed and my mom was going through addictions. I had been going through everything on my own, health issues, financial issues, everything by myself. I was really living in that masculine energy. I really isolated myself from friends, didn't have the best deep friendships or relationships because of that. And so, you know, the past few years, I've really tried to work on strengthening my relationships this is the thing, you kind of have to be the change, right? Like we can complain about how we don't have deep friendships or romantic relationships or all of these things, but it's like there's a level of you having to take that mask down and you actually stepping out of that masculine energy and trusting other people and letting people in, right? I would never let people in. I would never go to my friends for anything because I'm like, I got me. I'm good, right? I was surviving, and I was. And I did have myself, but I started to realize how me being this strong, independent woman was actually, it wasn't making me satisfied. And the more that I achieved success in my life, I realized, wow, like I'm very fucking empty. And if I want to feel deeper and I want to have the things that I say that I need to have, I know what I need to do. And that's to take off my mask. That is to be vulnerable. That is to let people in. That is to just take that step forward, even when it feels uncomfortable. So I've really tried to do that in my friendships, and it's reflecting. Like I have really, really good friendships, and yes, it's other people, but it is because I've allowed it. I've stopped getting in my own way with friendships. I've stopped pushing people away. I've been vulnerable, even in my romantic partnerships. Like I've let my feelings out. I haven't played small. I haven't just, let the guy run the whole relationship or not say how I feel or not stand in my worth. And it's really reflecting, and I'm feeling very solid and very supported. And what happens when you really become yourself is people don't run away. People actually are there, and that's where you build a deep connection with people. So lately I've just been really happy with my friendships. I feel like I have so many great friends that I put in the effort and they're putting the effort back in, which makes me feel solid and grounded, right? It's like I think about all the different types of friends that I have, all the great conversations that we have, all the great things that we're doing. It's all just amazing stuff, way different than all the other friendships that I've ever had in my life before. And it just makes me really happy. So it just makes me like grounded, and I feel supported, right? And also, even with you guys, like the amount of comments that I get is insane. It blows my mind every day when I go onto YouTube and I see the comment section. You guys are just like so incredibly nice and supportive. Like it's, oh my God, I just like, sometimes I just, most days when I go and I look at these comments and I read some of them out, and I'm just like, you guys are just so sweet and so nice. You're so caring, so loving, so supportive. You just speak such words of kindness and love into me or into my community, or just you're so positive, and I feel so supported that way. Like I know that maybe it's like, it's kind of like a parasocial relationship. Like can't really fully see you guys, and we might not really talk, but I see you and I feel you guys. Like genuinely, I feel the support and the love. So that makes me feel very grounded in my life. And just even, my management, I'm getting so much great work happening, with brand deals and just content creation. And yeah, I feel very at peace right now with my life. And so I'm very grateful for these things. And that's what I've been very grateful for, is like my friendships and the groundedness that I'm feeling, and just every little, like just small little things that I see from the universe that always just says, hey, I got your back. Hey, you thought that maybe you weren't going to be safe here, but see, I got your back. Just like really paying attention to how the universe is supporting me has been just making me at peace, like so at peace. And then I'm not in that scarcity. I'm not stressing. I don't need to have all of these things to make me happy. Even in my like romantic relationships, I know I don't share too much deeply. That's just something that I like to keep close to my heart. But you never know. But yeah, I don't know. But I'm just so at peace with that as well right now. So anyways, two things though I would say, like, I don't know, more specific is I've been going back to guided meditations on the mindful movement. I love Sarah. I forget her last name, but she does really, really good night affirmations. And so definitely go check them out. If you find that you are stressed at night, or you need more words of affirmations that you might not be able to tell yourself on anything, if you're stressed about anything, if you're going through breakups, if you're going through financial things, if you're just feeling really lost in life, if you're struggling with trust, anything, go to mindful movement and type in mindful movement night meditation for self-love, for trust, for abundance, and you will find so many. And the reason why I love her, well, there's many reasons, but I think like the mindful movement has my heart because I used those when I was healing my nerve pain. And that was the first time I ever found guided meditations and actually used them to relax my nervous system. I didn't really know much about the nervous system at that point. And so, yeah, I just think that I've been going back to that and it's just been really grounding me as well. And music has been something that I've just been it's really just been guiding me and helping me. I've made a lot of new playlists. My Spotify playlist is linked in the show notes in the description if you're interested. And recently I've been loving Black. You guys know I already said that he had a new song. So that's been something. So thank you for asking that question. Someone also said, who would you be if you weren't a content creator? So I think a few things. I think one naturally would just be a therapist. Like if I just wasn't online, I would just have my own practice. Which who knows if I will do that or not. Maybe down the line. But I feel like another thing, I would probably be an event planner. I actually went to school for special event planning and I really I was really interested in events and event planning, but it's very niche and it is more of a different world. And I just wasn't immersed in that world when I was in college. I was going through so much at that time. So it just like wasn't the right time. I also just think that if anything, it'll just be more, I'll be able to express more of that because I really like events and stuff, like hosting and everything like that. When I have like my own home, like my suburban life era, I feel like I'll have a lot of like sports days for my kids and like birthdays and like my events, like wedding things, like all that kind of stuff. Like I feel like that era is still to come, but it's just not something that I'm like doing right now in my life. But I definitely think that maybe I could see myself like doing that but I don't think that would actually be a job for me in the future. If anything, it's just going to be like more of a hobby and something fun to do. And but also another thing I was thinking about, and these two things are more rooted in things that I was interested in when I was a young kid. So let's say like I grew up and I don't know, maybe I didn't go through all the things that I went through, but in general, like maybe content creation like wasn't even on the radar or therapy or whatever. It would be a professional organizer, which is very interesting, but I used to be obsessed with organizing. And literally, like I remember at the age of like 5, I would make, the age of 5, this kind of goes back to the event planning thing. I remember I would sit in my room and I would get those like napkins, just like those like dollar store napkins, and I would lay them out like all around as if there's like a table on my carpet, and I would like set up like all the things that you would need for a birthday party, and I would like host my own birthday party, but no one would be there. It would just be me. Like I was just like doing that for fun. And I used to just always love to organize. Anyone who knows me in real life, like from back in the day, knows that if I was your friend or if I was like your family member, I would come to your house and I would clean and organize everything. I used to be a babysitter as well. Like that was actually one of my first ever jobs, was babysitting, when it was like, that's like your first job before you get like a real actual job where you're like on payroll and stuff like that. But I used to always know no matter whose house I was at, I would always organize and clean. I would make sure that I wouldn't get into their shit though, but I would always organize and clean everything. And my the people who I babysit for, they would love me. They would pay me so much more money as well, by the way. Always go above and beyond when you're doing a job for anything. That's how I was from day one. And I've always been a really good worker. Any single job, they will tell you I was like one of the top. Like I was so efficient, so good. I did way more than I needed to, and I did it very quickly, and I was very efficient. I knew what the fuck I was doing, and for many reasons. And like, I mean, I grew up with a dad who was a tyrant, so I had to be on it. I was always having to do chores. I was always having to do things like very, very strictly. But there was a part of me that actually did enjoy cleaning and doing these things. So I even remember, I feel like a lot of you guys don't know, but I do have half siblings. My dad was a player, okay? He had a few baby moms, all right? But I'm thankful for that because I have sisters and a brother. I don't talk to them too much, and a lot of them live in the West, and they don't live near me, but I grew up with them. And so I would always go to my one sister's house. Honestly, both my sisters were pretty chaotic in terms of their lifestyle. But I would go to my one sister's house, and she was a fucking mess. Like, love you, Vanessa, but oh my God, she just had shit everywhere. Like, she wasn't like dirty a mess, but she was just chaotic mess. Like, she just had all of her things everywhere all the time, so chaotic. And I would go to her place and I would always clean her room, and her mom literally loved me. And if we ever wanted to have house parties, because we'd always have them at their house, because also my brother was like really popular, so he would always have like all the cool kids come over, and so there was like just like a collaboration of friends. It was always fun for us. what we would do to try and convince Vanessa's mom to let us have a party was to clean, because she, like, the house was always, we'd always like make it a mess, and she always wanted the house fucking clean, and no wonder, because she had 2 kids running around the house. And so I would do the grunt of the work. Like, I would make sure, like, Vanessa would clean too, but it was kind of like half-ass here and there. And then I would make sure to organize everything and clean everything. I would just do that all the time. Anywhere that I went, even I know my aunts, they used to have like a cleaning company, and they would go and clean really big mansions back in my hometown. It was so sick. I used to go with them sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God, like, people live like this is insane. And I would just love organizing and cleaning shit. And I used to always watch those home organizations and like home renovations and like reorganizing and decor and all that kind of stuff. I was super, super, super into that. So I feel like, or I thought that I kind of wanted to do something in terms of like professional organizing. I remember when I used to start seeing like Kim Kardashian's organization for her closet and like Khloe Kardashian's kitchen, all of those like organization stuff. I used to think like, oh my God, I want to have that job. Like, that's what I want to do. But it's very niche, and it just like wasn't a thing. I grew up very poor. So like, who the fuck wanted to have, who was paying? Oh, another thing actually though, I used to live on a farm, and we used to rent this place from this lady who was really rich. And, she used to pay me, and I would go, and she used to spend all of her money on everything because she had so much money. She was loaded, and she would emotionally spend on everything. And so she would shop every fucking day. I'm not joking. Every day she would come home with bags and bags and bags and bags of things. And so I would just like take everything out. I would organize everything. I would spend days just like organizing everything. I even used to go there during COVID as well. Sometimes I would go and visit my mom, and I would go up there and I would organize for her. It's insane. I literally organized the fuck out of her place, and then she would ruin it again, and I would do it again. So anyways, I think that that's something that I have a good, deep passion for, maybe one day. But honestly, I just think I'll do it for my own home and for my own children and for my husband, because y'all already know, you already know I'm going to be one of those wives. One last thing, a professional dancer. That was definitely another thing that I thought that I was potentially going to be, but then that just didn't happen. I don't think that I would ever actually want to be that though, because that's just, there's a whole lifestyle. So anyways, that's what I think that I would do if I wasn't doing content creation. Okay, a few more things. Somebody asked, is female rap lyrics empowering, or does it give competitive / petty vibes? What are your thoughts? I don't think that female rap lyrics are empowering at all. Now, this is what I'm going to say. I definitely have a hood girl playlist, and I listen to that music a little bit. I think it's great to channel some of that hood girl. And for me personally, like, okay, I didn't live on the streets, but I lived in a very rough upbringing. And listen, most people have it way worse than me, so I'm not even gonna say like it was that rough, but I definitely, I didn't come from like this, whatever. I just didn't come from a very easy background. So I feel like the reason why I'm saying that is because I think that there is really something about rap music that speaks to my soul in a way, and I don't particularly love it, but it's just something that I've kind of learned how to embrace. And I think that, you know, when you go on healing journeys and you grow up and you realize half this music is trash, you're like, okay, I don't want to listen to this stuff. And a lot of the times I don't, because I really don't like the lyrics and stuff for rap music, and I don't like it. But there's just certain things that, like, some people get surprised when I listen to Central C, but I think that I'm able to kind of like separate myself from some of the lyrics. Some of them are insane and I won't listen to them depending on the rapper, but I think that I'm able to kind of separate that. But I've kind of just embraced it because there's a part of me that just loves channeling that energy. I like to go to the gym and listen to rap music. There's that masculine essence of just me loving like hood music, and I used to always listen to it when I was younger, so I just don't feel like getting rid of that. And I know everyone's like, oh, like, don't listen to these words, and like they're getting into your subconscious and this, that, but I just personally think that I can control a lot of things that I take in, and that I don't think that affects me. And I get the argument that it kind of does, but I think that there's a balance, and I don't shame myself for doing it. But what I will say is I really don't listen to a lot of female rap artists. I do think, now, of course, men speak disgusting words about women in their music, and so I actually really try that. You'll actually see a lot of the music that I listen to, if it's rap or hood, they don't speak the worst things about women. Usually it's more about money and success. If they talk too much about like sex or just like, I after here and after there, like obviously that's in there. I will turn it off if it's just too much, because I'm like, you're disgusting, like shut up. But with women, I just don't find it empowering at all. And I think that I do get a little bit more triggered because I have like I have a heart for being a woman. And I just feel like, again, these women, they probably do feel very empowered, and we're allowed to express how we want to. And yes, we can say F men, and we can talk about hookup culture if we want and this, that. But for me personally, things that I've lied to myself about in terms of, let's say like going back to a toxic ex and liking it, or like, let me screw him. Not like I ever did that kind of stuff, and like talk like that. But the narrative of like, he's out here effing girls, I'm going to do the same thing with a bunch of other guys type thing. I personally think that that's a lot of lies and deception that we say to ourselves. And I've played a role in that before with hookup culture, telling myself that I kind of was okay with it, but I wasn't. And so personally, when I hear other women speaking like that, for me, I can't turn off the critical thinking of like, babe, you probably are lying to yourself. And listen, I know there's some girls who really are okay with that, but I think deep down, there's a lot of that that's actually very untrue. And so when I hear that, I'm like, I just personally think a lot of it's just lies, and I just don't think it's very empowering. I just don't think that you trying to be like a man in sense of like treating people the way that they've treated, like in general, if somebody's hurt you, you're going to hurt them type of energy. I can't get with it. And I don't know, I do like men's music over women when it comes to more rap, I think. And in terms of it being like petty and competitive, honestly, I'd rather hear that from women than the like sexualized stuff from women, I think personally, because I think with like it's not like it's great to hear women talk about being competitive or petty, but I think it's okay to just kind of like think like, like me and my crew, like we're better and like this, that. And again, like I don't ever think like this. And there's no competition when it comes to women, and we should not be like that. But I don't know, like I don't think it's like, this is the thing. I don't think it's harmful, but it is harmful because they are influencing the culture, right? So I have mixed views on that, because I see those like political figures out there, the conservative political figures that have such strong beliefs about, the Cardi B's of the world and what they're putting out to society, because realistically the young women are listening to them, and then they're going to the clubs and they're twerking their ass. But it's like, babe, Cardi B can go to the club and twerk her ass, but if you go and do that, you degular you, there's going to be consequences, and you can go do that if you want. But just understand, which a lot of women don't, they're getting influenced by these rappers who essentially they have access to things that you don't have, and they have access to money, they have access to men, they have access to all of these things. And not to say that they can do these things and get away with, like obviously still people look at them like, oh God, you probably shouldn't do this. But there is a level of them getting away with things that you're not going to be able to get away with. If you go down to your hometown and start twerking on the fucking pole, nobody's going to try and date you, most likely. And again, if that's not what you want, that's fine. But it's just like, don't be out here crying and saying that you can't get a husband when you're acting like that. And a lot of the times people are acting like that because you're getting influenced by these women. So it's like, okay, you know what? This is what I do. I let these women do whatever they want, but I'm not following you. That is all I fucking know. All I know is I am not listening to what you're telling me to do, like, and act and be. And on top of that, y'all don't even have what I want anyways, so I'm not doing it. I don't know. That's my thoughts. It might be harsh, but that's what I think. Also, somebody asked, what are your thoughts on the Red Pill community and their podcasts? I think majority of them are not really necessarily helping men become better men in society and women become better women. I think that a lot of Red Pill podcasts are essentially just creating more gender wars. And this is what I also think, something that I came to realize, because I definitely did get sucked in a little bit to the Red Pill community, just, because some of the things that they say are technically, they're true. They're shining a lot of light on how men and women are acting in society. But the thing is like, relationships don't have to be so fucking toxic the way that they speak about it. Like, if you go and listen to people talk about dating advice and everything's just games, or everything's just like very negative, I just don't think that it's helpful. Like when they talk about how like women have expiration dates and how, like by the age of 30, if you're not married, then you're like lost goods and your value goes down and this, that, da, da, da. It's like, okay, yes, it's apparent that we have a certain age where we can no longer have kids. And yes, it's true that obviously the way that you're presenting and acting in life will either help or hurt you in terms of getting into a long-term partnership and marriage and all these things. But we don't have to be so fucking extreme. Like people, if you go into the real world, not in these crazy toxic environments, people are living normal lives. Okay. And so I just feel like this is just, I don't know, the red pill communities and stuff like that. I just think that they're just like, they need to go out and live their life. And on top of that though, what I was going to say is, who out of all of these podcasters actually have healthy, stable relationships or marriages or children for that matter? None of them. So I'm honestly good. I don't want to hear it. The people who are having healthy, beautiful relationships, the ones that I listen to, and they're not even like their podcasts aren't about relationships. They're just like, I don't know, regular people that are successful, or they just talk about their children or marriages and stuff. They're not loud on social media like that. They're just like normal people. And so I'm just like good on that, because you can start to fall down a dark rabbit hole when you go and watch these podcasts. And I just think that it makes you feel like shit. And if things make you feel like shit, then don't listen to them. So I don't know. That's just my stance on that. Two more things. Somebody had asked, and this is more for you guys, or like specifically, someone said, should I keep in touch with my ex / say hello, or like completely ignore my ex-boyfriend? I think it really depends. Bring it actually back to what I was even saying about being so extreme and like toxic and stuff. If you and your ex-boyfriend broke up and maybe the timing wasn't right, or like whatever the reason it was, or you guys just like aren't meant for each other, and if you like see them and you say hi, like it's a normal thing. Or I don't know, like maybe if your ex reached out to you and said hi, or you want to say hi, you can. I just think, ask yourself the reason as to why you'd want to reach out. If you're trying to reach out because you want them back, but they're not ready, or, they've treated like you like shit, but you're trying to reach out to them, then don't do that, because it's just not healthy. Right. But we don't have to be so like, oh my God, you can never like talk to an ex or anything like that. The reason why a lot of people say that, and I've said this too in my content, and I still stand with this, is the majority of the reason why we want to talk to our exes is because we're trying to like chase them and get them back, even though like things haven't worked out. But I mean, if you guys are respectful, normal people, and their intentions are not to hurt you, and also you can't let them hurt you unless you really let them, by letting them back in your life and playing games, then it's not that big of a deal. But I just think that usually, I don't know. So yeah, talk to them if you want. Like I have exes that message me. There's this one ex that like always seems to want to try and talk to me, but it's not happening. But he's still like nice. Like it's not harmful. I don't have to ignore him, but it's just like, I already know what you're trying to do, but that's fine. But it's not from this place. It's not even from this place of him being a huge red flag and being disrespectful. Like, I just think that he looks at himself as if he's done a lot more in his life now, and he's like kind of ready, and look at all the things that I've been doing working on myself. But it's just like, I'm not interested. But it's not like, you don't have to look at that like, oh my God, it's this big thing, whatever. I don't know. That's my thoughts. So I guess that wasn't really too much of a explanation, but that's what I think. The last question, someone said, this is like very small. Okay. So I'm trying to like read this. First date asked to go to a motel / be friends with benefits. I like him, but I'm disappointed. I rejected him. So I guess she said no to the hotel and everything like that. But I regret it because I'm lonely. So this is what I'm going to say. Yes, I can understand why you would maybe regret that in the second that you did that, because it's like, oh, like I wanted, I want to not be lonely. But no, you should not regret something that you weren't going to want to have anyways. Are you kidding me? First date, he wants friends with benefits and he wants to go to a motel room. Okay, why do we even like this guy? For one, okay? So like, let's maybe look into why we like him and why we're so distraught by somebody who literally was going to treat us like trash anyways. Like, how does that make any sense? So yeah, I don't know. I just think you need to realize like you have so much more worth than that. And again, You want something bigger than that. So remind yourself in the moment when you feel alone, like, you know, you're disappointed with a guy who you thought maybe was going to be like somebody that would take you on a date, but then they said this and you know where that's going to lead you. Just remind yourself there's going to be guys like that. Do not get down on yourself because there's stupid guys like that. Simply let that man go. And remind yourself of all the qualities and all the beautiful things that you are looking forward to and that you are going to get in a relationship and from a man that knows your worth. Okay. And that is that. And let that guy go so effortlessly, because the more you don't let that guy go effortlessly, you are not going to have that man come and be a match to you, the one that is going to treat you right. Why? Because you're not standing in your worth. Like, for you to actually consider going on a date, I'm not saying you actually did this, but if you, and I've been in these situations before, so I'm not bagging on you. I've been here. My self-esteem was low, and I would consider these types of things, right? Maybe it wasn't this specific situation, but I would consider these things when I kind of knew what it was going to be. And me considering these things, it's like, no, I'm not standing in my worth at all. It should be an automatic, absolutely no, done. I'm not even thinking about you. Are you insane? We're going to go on a first date and we're going to go to a motel. The fact that you even asked me that is disgusting. Go away. Done. Think about the guy that you want. You are worth so much more. Please. And I know you can feel alone, because naturally you going through this situation is going to make you feel alone. That's fine. But like, don't feel alone and like down with dating and your love life because of that guy. Please. Oh my good freaking Lord. And, you know, dating is a process, and we can get into a whole episode. So let me know if you guys want. But you know, the more that I worked on myself and my self-esteem and really started saying no to the guys that I did not want in my life, the way that, like, and if we're talking about sex and stuff, like friends with benefits stuff and like motel things and just essentially sex, I have dated guys who that was not their top priority. And I was stunned by that sometimes, because I was like so used to like, okay, well, that's going to be one of their priorities. And even the red pill community is like, well, you know, you can't make them wait, or sex is so important. And I still believe, yes, sex is important for me and for you. And like, eventually it's going to have to happen. And I want that to happen. And that's a great thing. But I have met men who are great men, and they could absolutely be thinking about having sex, like seriously, and they don't, because I really do believe it's that reflection of how I'm standing in my own worth and what I'm bringing to the table. And I know people hate when we talk about bringing things to the table, but you have to bring something to the fucking table. I'm so sorry. Okay. You can't just sit on your ass and not bring anything to the table. And when I mean bring something to the table, it's not like you have to like, you're not inherently worthy of who you are and lovable the way that you are. I'm not even talking about that, but genuinely, the more you work on yourself, the more you have a full life, the more that you have things to say, the more that you, give back to others, and just, you have this life, you have things to bring to the goddamn table. Okay. So people are going to look at you like more interesting. She's up here on her standard list, which means I have to come up here and meet her. Like she has all this worth and this value because she's showing up like that. But when you aren't working on yourself, when you have low self-esteem, when you and again, I am not saying that the girl who sent this doesn't have self-esteem. I'm not saying that, but like, yeah, like you're not going to have the best reflection in your life. That's all I'm saying. So anyways, don't get down on yourself, please. We are done. Okay. I have been so done with fuckboys for so many years of my life. Like, I don't even want to count, to be honest. But I was listening to a podcast episode the other day, and they're talking about like no fuckboys this fall and like cuffing season and stuff. It was kind of a joke, but she was saying like, we are not entertaining guys. And oh my gosh, I've been so far removed from that mindset, but I know some people are still going through that. And again, this is not to bag anyone. And if you want advice, please ask me, because I used to be in those seasons of life where, I had to tell myself, okay, I'm not going to talk to a fuckboy, or like, this season's cuffing season, but like, just know there's going to be signs. There's going to be guys who come into your life, and stop entertaining them. It's so not even a thing for me, but it used to be. But like, when I'm not around any of that, that's not that, like, those type of guys don't come into my existence. Like, it's not a thing. It's just like not, but it used to be. Anyways, I don't know really what I was saying with that, but that's going to be it for today's episode. It was a long one. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to let me know how you like this episode on Spotify if you're listening. Don't forget to subscribe and like follow the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube, and follow on Spotify or Apple if you're listening, or wherever you're listening to your podcasts. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.